Hello?
Hey there. There we are. Good morning. How are you?
Good. I just finished my walk and I had to make my green smoothie.
Oh, good on you. That's why you glow.
Yeah. So I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I had a swim last night. That was good. And checked in with my Thursday night dinner crew. And
Oh,
also, yeah, looked more at Jack's video.
yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to check with you some of my, since Jack isn't here, Jack and I are going to work this evening
Oh,
and
okay.
we're going to put 3 hours in. I'm going to work over his shoulder. He's going to edit,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll get that done. Uh,
Okay. Why don't I haven't looked at it again, but I know that I definitely, there were some pieces that I felt like they could come out, right? I mean,
yeah,
we could, some that we could. And yeah, definitely. But let me do that. And what I'll do is right after you and I get done, and then what I'll do is just I'll kind of say, trying to think how that I would convey that to you. I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple of, I think we only need like maybe two or the three teachers, maybe
yeah,
two or the three teachers.
just
That one mom that we interviewed, the San Francisco, your Thursday night group,
yeah,
she,
Mary.
she's fabulous. Okay,
Right,
so
right.
maybe, but I was gonna say maybe she's a little long, but everything she said was really good.
Well, there's one particular clip. She goes on that Hollywood is fabulous, but it keeps telling the same story, and especially for kids who don't have the chance to travel. I mean,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah,
She's got the mission, which
right,
is
right.
really lovely to see.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, so
yeah.
I think things like that, I mean, I would think that our goal would be definitely under 3 if
Under
possible.
3 minutes, maybe at most 5 interviews, best three.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah,
beginning, the atlas, it's not necessary. I mean,
right.
it's
Yeah,
amorphous, and that's good. I know where Jack is coming from, and
yeah,
and I would have done the same thing in my
yeah,
first years of
right,
doing
right.
this. So,
Yeah,
so I would take out the atlas. Um, Carol and Jack in the front, in the top, not super strong. There's other things that Carol said. I know that Jack wants to get in a, a clip of him saying that, but he says educate our world leaders. We want to. He
I heard
says
that. I heard that.
we want
Yeah.
to educate our world leaders now, and
Well, I
the,
think that I thought, oh no, because it's like it that sounds kind of I think it comes across wrong. It sounds kind of elitist, to say our world leaders, and it's we're after every kid, right? I mean, we're
right,
after every
right,
kid,
right,
so
right,
they caught
right.
that
And
too.
I,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he had that image.
Hmm.
Oh, Jack says he has a meeting at 8, but he'll check in. That's
Hmm.
great. Okay. Um, I'll just let him know that we're reviewing, and
Hmm.
uh,
Which is the woman you're talking about? Which is that the one you're right
the
before that?
blonde woman in New Hampshire, or is that where
Hmm.
she is? She's
Hmm.
the sister
Yeah.
of Robert Locke,
Okay.
and she does make a great statement. Jack cut it. So rather than having short, he's just trying to fit too much in, and that's understandable.
Right.
It's all,
Right.
it
Right.
all feels good.
Right.
Um,
But I think the teacher that took him to India, he's
yeah,
very good. You
yeah,
know,
that line, that's John, and
and
he says, um, some kids in India are more like them now, and it's the kids down the road that are so different from us.
hmm.
This is a really good point.
Yeah.
Manga, we need to put manga in. Um,
Okay.
he speaks about how history is different, and it's a great quote. So we might focus on him from the start
Hmm. Hmm.
and um, tell the needs first. The teachers are saying, "Yeah, I really need this,"
Hmm.
and maybe Carol at the end who's saying, "Yeah, my kids love films, and I love what you're doing, and I wish they had that. I think she says
Right.
something like that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's good. I'll look at it again though, for sure. Because
good.
yeah, I think the blonde lady in the beginning, I felt like, but if she has one little great quote, that'll be good. I'll listen
I
to it
wouldn't
again.
start it with her. I wouldn't start
No,
it
I
with
wouldn't
her.
either. No, I would not. And actually, you know, your two pieces are good. Okay. Uh, and then he puts his screen 360. He puts us up there next.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
think it either
that's
to start with that first or
uh
at the end. Either way.
I see it as a title, but I would see a different type of title. And then that if we want to attach that at the end,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't need, oh, here's Jack.
Oh.
Good morning, Jack.
Good morning.
You've got a meeting at 8, so we won't keep you long.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dee Dee.
We're talking about edits, and I also thought the USC professor stated it very succinctly, and she would be good to move to the top.
Okay.
Yeah. Manga is strong, and I think it would be great to start with. He states a need, and
I'll be right back.
but we could do all of this though too tonight, Jack.
Yeah. 5:30 to 8:30 or 5 to 8?
5:30 to 8:30.
Okay,
5:30
perfect.
to 8:30. I like Robert Locke, but he's more of an exclamation at the end.
Yeah, sure.
Todd Bash is nice though.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, Mary Austin, Hollywood is fabulous, but it keeps telling the same story. And I think when we label them, Mary Austin, homeschool mom,
Mm-hmm.
Carol, the current cut with Carol, you and Carol at the top. Carol's statement, I think, needs to be stronger, and your statement after educate our world leaders. Now, it sounds like educate our world leaders as adults now, rather than
Yeah.
what you were getting at was we want to, cultivate international peers and global stewards. So that's more of
Mm-hmm.
a general term. So let's work on that entry. Manga as the entry.
Yeah, that could be good.
Uh-huh. As stating the needs first, and then I like when Carol says, I like what you guys are doing because my kids really loved film, and that might be part of the solution. So need and solution. Excuse me,
I kind of feel that there ought to be a transition kind of slide, that just takes you like from kind of a continuity of the message that we're trying to put out there. And so
Mm-hmm.
therefore, whether it's the student voice, the teacher voice, I don't know, the filmmaker voice, but I don't know. I think the audience needs to know. Are you going to have little taglines at the bottom as to who's speaking at least, or
yeah,
something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that comes later.
Okay, that'll do it. Okay.
That'll do it. And we could even have a statement.
Right.
Why
Oh,
is this needed, and
Yeah.
here's our solution.
and a quote at the end of some sort.
Well, sure, right.
Right.
I
Yes.
always, Buckminster Fuller, and there's been a guiding quote, and then you will go on and do what nobody else has told you to do.
Mhm.
Buckminster. So
Yeah.
that's innovation, really.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, sure. And there are all kinds out there, right? I mean, because certainly I saw one not too long ago that was, darn it, not Benjamin Barber, but it was like Oh shoot, who was it? I'll have to think it wasn't, you know, obviously
You,
Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs has
mhm,
something, but
mhm,
there's some
mhm.
good ones out there for sure.
Hmm.
About the world and connecting with the world. Something, you know, to tie that, the importance of humanity or the importance of understanding or something. Or we'll find one for
We'll
sure.
Yeah,
find,
we'll
yeah.
find.
And from the interview yesterday with Stephanie Moore, she spoke about wanting her kids to become independent learners. And Carol might say that too, but Stephanie Moore says that really well. And
Hmm.
that is, well, that's homeschooling. But I also say that about uh, engaging in films when you have a one-to-one experience and your thought is honored in the
Hmm.
Q&A when you're watching films, and so it cultivates
Mhm.
independent thought
Right.
and learning.
Well, yeah, the Common Core, you know, a couple of the Common Core pieces are self-directed learners, community participants. Um, what were the other pieces? They'll come to me, but certainly self-directed learners, right? Independent learners, self-directed learners. Um,
We could put the themes in there.
That's just what I was thinking, Jack.
mhm.
But the
Oh, for Common
composite of
Core,
the scene.
you're
What's that?
talking about APIB themes? Is that what you're talking about? No,
Well, we arrived at those four
right.
that touched on all of them, right?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put them in like that, not just up front like that. I think if we could summarize it somehow at the end in a statement, you know, if we could just, you know, wordsmith it down,
Mm-hmm,
work
mm-hmm.
on it. Yeah,
That we are informed by Common Core, IB, and AP
Hmm.
themes and courses.
I think Katie, I think if I recall, and I have to go back, it seems to me because I'm big into mission statements and vision statements, okay? But I
Yeah.
think if 360 TV had a mission and a vision statement. I mean, I think if we find it or we create it or whatever it is, I think that's pretty powerful, you know, to say, this is our mission, this is our vision, you know, so
Uh,
this is
There,
what we're about.
there are, but of late, I haven't presented it and we haven't transformed it. We haven't pivoted it. There is one from the original Screen 360 films for children of the world that was an acronym spelling out peace. And I've been looking for that. I'll have to go into an old hard drive.
Yeah.
But that is one, and that certainly goes along with um, the Peace Innovation Group. But I
Mhm.
got pushback on that once, and it was from you know a not an older white man. It was actually it was a Mill Valley dad who works for Pearson, and I
Mhm.
happened to be working for Pearson for one project, and he said, "Doesn't everybody want peace?"
Mhm.
And he actually seemed a little irritated, somewhat in the way that Steve Weinstein was with us when he said, "I thought you were telling us that we had to do this rather than
Mhm.
Yeah.
asking us or encouraging us to do
And
this."
we do have to be careful around that. I really
Yeah.
do think we have to be subtle and about it. So therefore, I do think we have to capture it, couch it in some sort of different kind of a way. I do think it's important, you know, and I think we can. I think we can come up with a really powerful statement. You know, I have to go back and see. I thought I saw something on your website or
Well,
something.
there also that page of quotes and
Oh,
li-
okay, okay,
characters. I had lines,
okay.
elevator speeches. That's in our packet,
Mhm.
our H4R packet.
Okay, okay. But I do think that's huge, and not only huge for this kind of a presentation, but I think if you have a really, really, really good, well thought out, solid mission statement, it drives you. It drives your
Oh,
company. It
sure,
just
sure.
drives, you
And
know. And so
that
I
was the
think,
one thing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 I'm done.
That was the one thing that Rochelle did for us. She pressed me on my 1 minute statement. In 1 minute, it's a you know, it's not
true.
an elevator statement, which is 15 seconds. So,
Yeah.
and so that need to have that,
Mhm.
and that is good. So, um, so tonight we are working on the more compact part that will go with our crowdfunding campaign.
Oh.
Yeah. So that it's
You can come if you want.
you can come, Dee
It's a
Dee.
little late,
Yeah,
but
Oh my God, what time?
we're gonna work 5:30 to 8:30.
8:30 to 11:30.
Yeah,
Maybe. No
all
promises.
you can pop in for part of it. You can pop in
Okay.
for the beginning if you want. We'll see
Okay.
how that goes. But
right.
all right.
Well, I'll see you then.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
You too.
Thanks, everybody.
TGIF.
Haha. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Are we signing off, Katie? Are we, you
Um,
and I?
we don't have to. We don't
Oh,
have to.
because I'd like to talk about uh what's his name? I forgot his name right
Michael
now.
Moe,
No.
Gamba.
Dan Gilbert, right? Dan
Yes,
Gilbert.
yes, yes. Thank you.
So so what did you think? What do you think about all that? You know?
Well, so looking at, I'm going to bring those up. Looking at the three "how might we" statements that he arrived at. Um, First, I really like the question that was posed to us. Did a parent ask for that?
I know, that was a good one.
Yeah, I know. It had me a little stumped, didn't it? And so I passed it to you. Thanks for picking up the baton, Dee Dee. That was great.
Yeah, right.
That was great. Um, Really important question because parents haven't specifically asked for that. And
Correct.
we yesterday in the conversation with Stephanie Moore, we asked her about cultural literacy. So I believe that question comes in cultural literacy. I mean,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
cannot ask a parent, how are you teaching your children not to be
No,
racist,
right,
homophobes, and
right.
such,
No,
right?
right.
You, but if you ask, how are you considering cultural literacy, I believe that gets at the point. And Stephanie immediately went to, well, the curriculum is, and the homeschool groups takes them to plays, for instance. They're going to see a play about racism. Um, they're reading To Kill a Mockingbird and
Hmm.
things like this. So they're touching on those important
Hmm. Hmm.
core things. But I think, like every American, there needs to be a regular exercise. But that's another thing. Nobody's talking about that regular exercise, and maybe that's something that that we arrive at. The show I envisioned for Screen 360 TV, if it were ever to be the studio show that I would like it to be, is that it is a mix of film, but also what you feel in your body. And so uh, the entire program ends with dancing with these big balls that come into the moving. So
Yeah, right.
moving after sitting. And
Hmm.
so tuning oneself into their to hearing what their body says.
Hmm.
And I think that being in the moment with one's body and being able to hear when you are cringing because something is new and different, or whether you are relaxed and curious
Right,
about
right,
it.
right,
It
exactly.
comes down to that.
It
I
does.
think I think it comes down to that. And if we can hear our bodies
Hmm.
do one of those, then we
Hmm.
can understand
Hmm.
what what happens,
Hmm.
and we can use a biofeedback mechanism to change that.
Right.
Do I see? Recognize that you see.
Hmm.
You can see that in children.
Hmm.
You
Definitely. And I think that cultural literacy, I'll do the research, but I know cultural literacy is definitely in the Common Core. I don't remember how or where it's located exactly, But I do think when we were at the Stanford workshop, someone said, or we had a conversation where someone said, maybe you need to take this to the state. Maybe you need to take it to the Board of Ed of the state and, you know, make a petition or make an argument why this needs to be part of the curriculum, more substantial or more concrete in the curriculum. And I kind of see that, because when Dan was asking that question and I was talking, you know, we're running out of time, etc. But, you know, my feeling still is, okay, yes, no one's really asked for it, but we know it's a need, right? So it's a need that you don't know that you need, okay?
This is it.
And it's really, it's, you know, and it's like, there's a difference between a need and a want. And like right now, it's like, I want my kid to be enriched. I want my kid to, you know, but the need is, you know, we need this for our global workplace. We need this for our, you know, for our kids to be able to interact, you know, in the changing world and understanding, and for peace, you know, whatever. And so I think it comes down to, no, everyone wants everyone to be nice, and that they want all the kids and everyone to be respectful of other cultures and to understand. And guess what? It's not going to happen unless you are in a curriculum of some sort, unless, you know, in a classroom where there are some exercises, activities, or whatever it is that's going to get you to at least think, you know?
Right. And
So,
to
yeah.
recognize what it feels like in your body, you know. And two of the people that I've met on these cocktail parties, one is Svetlana,
Hmm.
Russian woman. If you listen to her, she's a volleyball player. You can see it. We had a conversation the other day, and she's great. And
Mm-hmm.
hers is very similar to Screen 360 TV, wanting
Oh,
to use storytelling, but well, storytelling is really about uh, what happened to someone on the job,
mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
uh, that is presented,
oh,
and a group weighs in on it and discusses and helps
oh, I
someone
saw
decide
that.
what to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did
and
see her talk about that. Yeah. And
and
then the HR person, right?
she's an HR person.
Yeah,
And
right.
so this is diversity training. What we're doing is called is
I love
diversity training, right?
finally.
And we're
Definitely.
doing that. And I talked to a gentleman, and he's had a business for 30 years of working in enterprise in diversity training. And he is, I think, Mexican American and Native American, and he works in Washington, Seattle. So he's
Mhm.
working a lot with Native American groups. And I want to talk to him further. And
Oh,
it would
yeah.
be really smart for us, I think, to have some of these HR people engaged. And I look at the woman we talked with yesterday. She is also an HR director. So
Oh.
this is really interesting. What
Mhm,
is
mhm.
surfacing, and who is you know
Well, isn't that
being
cool? That, because you're right, it is diversity training, and through international film, definitely, it's different. You know, it's not. It's different. It's totally different. It's not out there like that.
yeah
You know what I mean? Not
yeah.
not not programmed like that. Oh, by the way, I well, let's see. So, what do you think is going to come up? You know, with Dan Gilbert, what do we hope? Or
So next week, let's see. Let me check the date. I believe it's Thursday or Friday. He'll have a report and
hmm,
see what they've come up with for us. So we should all be there for that.
yeah. I like
Um,
how he thinks. I really like how he approaches, you know, his thought process. When he did the drawing, I go, "Oh, I do that too."
yeah. Oh, that's
I do
good.
that
And
too.
so to think visually, right?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's a design thinking coach.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Where at Stanford?
He came through the same program I did, learning design
Oh,
technology, but a few years before. Well, maybe several years before. I don't quite remember exactly, but yeah, he came through a few years before. So he was there at the D school when IDEO practices design thinking, and they developed it at their firm.
oh, yeah.
And since David Kelly was one of the founders of IDEO and also teaching in mechanical engineering, pardon me, at Stanford. They started the program at Stanford too. So I believe that Dan got a lot of the direct IDEO training.
He's good. He was
Yeah,
really, he was, I liked his thought process. I liked how yeah, he was very, very good, very
yeah.
good.
He,
And
he
you could tell
really walks the talk and generates. He did something called an energizer for the entire program, and which was, I might not even be 20 years old, the Learning Design and Technology program. And he saw the value in energizing it and getting us all together. And so he did that a couple of times, big events, and just organized us all um, actually in one place uh, at Stanford. And then I was in Germany at the time, so I came in online. But he's done it a few times. So
wow.
he really walks the talk.
Yeah, he was, I'm glad I had no idea what that was. I missed the message or whatever. And I go like, okay, I go, oh, well, let me get in there, and then I go, oh my God, I had no idea. What this is.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
So
I'm glad.
I go like, oops,
Um,
so,
and okay, timing. I want to tell you when the date is that he's going to
okay.
respond. Um, so I think it's I'm going to say Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. Sorry, I thought I had that.
August? Is it August?
Yeah, next week. It's only a 7-day class, so it might be.
Oh,
So we did started 2 days, three, four,
where
five,
is he?
six.
When he has his class, where is he?
He sits in Nebraska. He's at his
Oh,
home in Nebraska, but the class is in Aarhus, Denmark, and the students are all over the world.
really? How
Yeah,
cool is
yeah,
that?
really
Oh
cool,
my God. Okay.
really cool. That's what our program was about, really, was using technology to extend learning, and
It's cool. Oh,
yeah,
there's so much, it's moving so fast. This
it
technology piece is
is.
moving so fast. So this week, not this week, I felt like it was this week. I was in Zoom Academy, and that was 8 hours a day,
Oh,
learning all about Zoom and different aspects of Zoom and blah,
oh,
blah, blah.
good for you.
There
Good
were
for you.
5,000 teachers, 10,000 teachers yesterday on learning, trying to, get ready for, remote learning, right? But yeah, so that was interesting. It was really, but everything's happening so fast. I mean, I think that technology now with this pandemic is just going to force it. It's just going to force it.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes. But and what it's forcing is, and I came back to Dan because I didn't state that in our needs and or in our reasons, but the spark of empathy
mhm.
for the world, people are thinking about the world where they hadn't so much
That's
before.
right.
So
Oh my
we
God.
need to come in on that.
You need to take
Right.
advantage of that. You absolutely need to
That's
take advantage of
exactly
that.
what we're doing.
I'm waiting for next year's films when all these countries are going to have the impact of COVID on their culture, on their, everything that they do.
Right,
It'll be
right.
most interesting films next year.
Right, right.
Okay, so,
If you are interested, but it's after the happy hour today. Um, the Learning Design and Technology program is doing its expo
oh,
online.
I got that email. I did get it.
Oh, you did? Okay, okay.
And then I tried signing up for it and I couldn't. No, I can't remember how it went. I'll look and see. Yes, I got the email and I was interested in that. Yeah, no, I don't have it on here. Huh. So is it at Stanford?
It's at Stanford online. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
they're using another new little gizmo, and this is actually also what's cool. You're seeing so many new products coming up, like the round the world. How was your cocktail hour yesterday?
I didn't go. I didn't go.
Uh-huh.
It was for Ohio. It was different, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and then it was North Carolina and Tennessee. I think maybe it was
Oh,
regional. It was regional. You
okay.
know, um, but I
North
didn't go.
Carolina, oh, Tennessee's below and North Carolina's a little bit over. Okay.
Yeah, they must have had just a couple of people here and there they're trying to put together,
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, I didn't go. What was the name of the workshop you just mentioned just now?
Learning Design and Technology Expo.
I want to see that. Okay.
It's from 4 to 5.
Okay, 4 to 5.
Mm-hmm. PST.
Okay, I know I got an email, but I don't know what happened. Learning. Did you say learning design?
Learning, comma, design and and technology, ampersand, I guess. Let me see if I could send you that.
Oh, thanks. I think I tried signing up and I couldn't for some reason.
That's strange. Let's see, LDT Expo. They would really like you to, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. I did it on Eventbrite. You can browse the product. Okay. Okay, here, I'll send this to you.
Oh, thank you. Michael Bowe just sent something about the happy hour tonight.
Okay.
So I got on the Berlin. How do you say that? Berlin.
So it's Berlin, but Berlin Ala.
Berlin Ala. So I got on it this morning at 5:30 my time.
Okay.
Trying to figure out how it all works. So basically, tell me if this is what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing the program. I do the whole thing. I get down to the to the generation, etc. The films are not there. We're only seeing the program, correct?
You can see. Click on the films that you're interested in, and you should be able to see something about them. There might be a film clip there. There might be photos, still photos,
yeah,
which are useful. You could if you're interested in it, take a screenshot of it, make a note, and then look it up on YouTube.
So that's what I did. Okay, I did all that. So I found two that I think would work for us. Only one of them, or maybe both. Yeah, maybe both of them are on IMBD, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Internet Movie Database is what that is.
How do you access that though? Do you have to join something? Is that like a Netflix?
It's open. You can take a professional. What's the word I'm thinking? You can take a professional access to it, but I don't have one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But you can get on it and find it there, and it might have the
nowhere else.
trailer there. What's that?
I didn't find them anywhere else though. I mean, although there's one film, the Spanish film, there's two, one from France and then one from Spain, and they're the right length for like the AP, class, whatever, or just classes, period. But okay, so you're saying that I have to join IMBD or whatever?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to, because
I don't think I can see the film then.
We ask for them. We ask for a screener.
Oh.
That's how it's done.
You ask for a screener.
So we appeal to the distributor, let them know what we're doing.
Oh.
And so we get all of that in a roster, and we talk to each one individually. We have our business plan, which we hope at this point we're working free, but we want to offer them something, an incentive to engage with us. Once we're running, we offer them 0.2% or something like this, and we need to arrive at that. But when we have all of those films together, many of them might be in an archive with Swedish film already. A lot of the Scandinavian films are at Swedish Films, and Swedish Films takes care of almost all the Scandinavian films, and they expect fees. And so my plan was to offer them a flat rate, all of them, but I want to see what we have.
Yeah.
Before making those deals.
So should I just start a list? Is that what you want me to do?
on the Pandemic
Yes,
Express
just add it in
session.
there.
Add
Add it.
add them in there. There's age groups. Put them in there. Yeah.
Mm.
Right now
Well,
I
these,
have them in 3 age groups.
okay, yeah, because these fall actually into nine, 9 whatever to 18. So I mean 9 years of age. They work for all those ages, I think.
Okay.
But they're
Okay.
nice little films, so they are nice. So I found 2. So I went through 2020, and then it's like most everything's a feature. So it's like too long, too
Well, be
long.
careful and go back. I might have said that to Esme and not to you. 2020, they're going to, I've already talked to them. They want to see if they can get a regular theatrical release. But maybe not. Maybe we do talk to them. But 2019, 2018, those that have already had a run, those are
Mhm.
the ones who are more likely going to say, yes, we like your sister,
Oh, okay. So I went
right?
through 2020, 2019, and I'm in 2018, right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I got one from 2019, and I think I got one from 2018. No, maybe they're both from 2019.
So
Yeah, I
it
think.
doesn't go
Mhm.
back further than 1982.
I beg your pardon?
It doesn't go back further
Oh,
than 1982.
okay,
So
okay.
you don't have to go back to, you don't have to go to the beginning of the film
Okay.
festival. There
Yeah,
was no
okay. That
children's
sounds good.
section.
All right, but yeah, because it's so interesting with foreign films, right? I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, clearly a lot of the subject matter is it's like, okay, but a lot of what do you call it, lesbian,
Well, sure. And this is what's happening at that age, and that's real. And so you have to look at the production value, how
yeah.
the story is told,
But we have
and
to be careful with that one, though. I mean, it's certainly with homeschooler. Well, I think parents,
but
whatever.
that's, I mean, it we have to be careful in how we write the program note. We have to be careful in, how we present it, and if we feel that it is valuable, then, you know, I have to tell you, I've been at film festivals around the world. There was one wonderful Swedish film festival that tackled children and sexuality. We
Mm-hmm,
know that it happens,
mm-hmm,
and they had the courage to do that. And
mm-hmm.
there's they have a sexologist for teens on the radio there. And this person was the
Interesting.
host. And it
Interesting.
was so beautifully treated.
I bet
And
it
there were
was.
films
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
were in that theme. And
Mhm,
I presented it to the Frameline, the Gay and Lesbian Festival, and I said, listen, you people are the most astute about
mhm, mhm,
sexuality, and you're ahead of our times. We need to learn from you.
mhm,
And they said, yeah, we can't touch that. We can't touch that, even though we understand,
mhm,
but
mhm,
they're too far ahead of the game.
mhm.
And you're right, we have to be careful, but we need to say, in Europe, they're watching this. So we need to make that accessible for parents who are
Mhm.
leading and
I know.
who do want to see something.
Yeah.
And our job is to present that material as it is presented in other parts of the world, to make it accessible for parents, teachers, and children who are looking for something different, who are
Right, and you're
looking.
right though. I think you nailed it. I think it is in the notes. I think it's in the programming notes. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a disclosure, that this is
sure
a
it
sub.
is.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's up to whoever, because whoever, it's not just kids having access to these things, it's the educators or the parents, so they're the
Sure.
ones who make the decision, But yeah, you're right. Yeah, we
Yep.
can have
And
a
so
look
we
at
do our best to say this was shown at the Berlin Film Festival, the 1985 or 2005, and it won this award.
that.
And
Mhm,
so we show the filters that it's gone through. And
mhm,
an award is a filter. That it was programmed at the Berlin Film Festival is a filter. They have several filters. And
mhm,
that's also something that I can list, that how a European film festival is constructed and how how much filtering happens. So when you get a film that comes from this film festival, then you know a lot of eyes have seen it. And
Yeah, that's good.
also, when you look at the archive, see if you can also find which films were the award winners.
Yep. I'm looking at those. They're listed. So I'm looking at those also, you know. I wish, and I'm looking at the shorts. You know, I'm going with the shorts. I'm looking with the generation. I'm looking for the award winners, all those things, and trying to see what's there. So yeah, I'm checking all those out. But that must be an amazing festival. It must be an amazing.
It is. Festival. It is. I mean, I wrote about it in my statement of purpose to get into Stanford, and that was it. I brought them there, and you know, it's a 1,000-seat theater that fills 3 times a day.
Seriously.
Films shown in their original language, and children get to speak to the director afterwards, oftentimes through a translator. So there's language. I call it a mini UN, as
yes, right. That's amazing. Totally amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, as I'm looking, you know, through all the, you know, listings and stuff, what I'm really kind of amazed about is what I'm thinking. I'm looking for French, and I'm looking for French films, Spanish, you know, language films, and of course German. We know German. There's a German AP. There are plenty of German films, lots of them. There are plenty of, like you said, Scandinavian films out there. Not too many French or Spanish. Okay, there are like you know, Middle Eastern, you know, Indian, and there are some Japanese, you know, some other kind of Asian kinds of things. But for the most part, they are Western European, pretty much, but not so much France and Spain.
You will see some. There
U.S.
some
U.S. films.
A few comes from the U.S. and some coming out of Africa. More.
Yes, right, exactly.
There's a couple of titles.
It's interesting. It's really interesting to see, you know, but I recognize some of the US ones that I've seen here, you know, in Cleveland, you know, so I go, we're at the Berlin Festival before they came.
It made it there. Well, right. One of the pain points is that I don't see a lot of American participation, but a few do get over there.
I wonder why.
I've been thinking about that and looking at that for a long time. And one, because there's because we have a Disney cap, there's not known, there's no awareness, and those that are aware and do try and get in don't cut the mustard, so they aren't chosen, and that's in part because there's no curriculum in the United States for making films for young audiences. And so they're not accustomed to speaking to a global audience. And so that is in part why I want to educate filmmakers. And why else? People don't care. You know, they don't care. They don't think that it's going to bring them money or make them famous or, you know, propel their career. So they don't make films for young audiences. Those are the reasons, several reasons. That the curriculum and training is another area that I'm pushing on with Screen 360 TV. As I said, I want to embed Screen 360 TV in a film department.
I want to go to that festival, though. As a matter of fact, do you know what it costs to go virtually? Have you seen the price?
It's not up yet. The festival.
Oh, it's not up yet.
The festival is in February.
Okay. I think I would like to go.
Very good. You could go as part of Screen 360 TV.
Oh, okay. I would like to. I really.
Good. I've been waiting for people to come with me.
Oh, I love film. I absolutely love film. You know. So yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. So I was doing that this morning. I thought, well, let me check this out. See what this is. You know.
That's good.
It's very impressive. Very impressive.
I've asked Esmid to give us a little report when she finds things.
Okay.
And so you could catch up to her on that. And if she finds the same things as you, interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So you know, if each one of you has a remark about it in the notes. That's great.
Okay.
So
Sounds
yeah, good. So we're going to see that spreadsheet fatten.
Right, exactly.
Good.
Well, that's you can start to see that that's where the work is, because to find them,
Yes, it is. Right,
like,
right. I have a couple of books. I wonder if I could send you one of my books, actually. What's your address, Dee Dee?
okay, 43 East Orange Street,
Orange. Okay.
Chagrin Falls,
Okay.
Ohio, 44022.
44022. Okay, I will share with you one of Renata Zilla's books. And she was the director of the Children's Festival, the Kinderfilm Fest at the Berlinale for 17 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
she brought it to the place where it became the most revered children's film festival, the most copied children's film festival in the world.
Amazing. Totally
Yeah,
amazing.
so I've got a couple of her books. I'll send you one.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Okay, so let me know when we're going to meet with Dan Gilbert again.
Yeah. I know it's next week. I'll just have to check one of his
Yeah.
emails. I thought I had put it in
I
there.
hope it's not Wednesday. I hope it's not Wednesday morning.
No,
Yes.
it'll be Thursday or Friday.
Oh, so today the happy hour, office hour and happy hour is with Michael Moe himself.
Yeah, it was last week too. And I asked a question actually, and I wonder if he'll take it. I did have considerable one-on-one time with him in the K-12.
Oh, I heard you.
No, actually, well, that was the K-12 industry. And I'm thanks for that. I'm glad you were there. And I did get back to this guy, John Gamba.
Oh, who is that?
And he was the one who was running the meetup. And he's a smarty, very 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 smart. He's the entrepreneur in residence at Penn. And yeah,
amazing.
I mean, but I didn't quite get what he felt. He said, "Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. We'll get back to you," and he didn't. And so, what does that mean, Mister? And I wrote to him, and he says, "Well, we'd be happy to put you on our mailing list." Well, we'll see. He said he'd be happy to talk further. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Yes. So Michael Moe, I'm going to go to office hours. The cocktail hour in the Northwest, there were only 5 people, and I talked to 4 of them. And yeah.
Okay,
it's not Silicon Valley.
Okay, maybe I'll make the office hour. I'll see if I can make the office hour. That's at 5 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Power on, sister. Power on.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a
Bye.
good day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.